Fair warning that you will see a lot of our glorious flowering cherry tree in today's episode, because it reliably announces to us the arrival of a new season. Spring is here. It's time to refresh our front flower pots so that they will be in good company with our beloved tree. Our first task is to spray paint the pair of metal trellises that we use in these pots. This new color I'm using is called Duke Gray by Magnolia Home, and is a brighter bluish gray that will hopefully show more prominently before our home's brick facade. Oliver helps me confirm that the fresh coat of paint has dried on these trellises while I was away at the garden center. I have returned with a few supplies for our project. Two plants of flowering kale, one flat of 10 viola plants. These are described as red and pink mix, but they are more so lavender and white. And one bag of soil mix that I will use for today's project as well as for another one I have planned. That new terracotta pot is also for another project, which I will unfortunately not get to work on today. Soon though, very soon. I decide to set up our workspace in the front yard, not too far from the front door, and not too far from our tree. The weather is pleasant this morning, especially on this eastern side of the house. It's a bit breezy though, so apologies in advance if the camera occasionally moves. Let's start by loosening up the existing soil in our planters. This mix still has some life in it, and once we remove a few root stragglers, it'll be a good base for our kale and our violas. One kale plant will be placed in the middle of each planter. You may notice that both the kale and the viola plants are a bit root bound as we remove them from their packages. Not a problem. I will simply remove the bottom layer of roots from each plant. This will encourage new root growth to spread out into our planters. So with a flat of 10 violas, I will have 5 plants for each planter pot. and they will border the outer edge. I probably could have purchased more violas to create a denser presence, but I am happy with the amount I bought. 5 plants allows for room to grow as the kale and the violas become acclimated to their new home. These kale plants are the perfect size to be framed by our improved trellises. I have learned from experience to secure these trellises into the pots before I get too far into the plantings. Since these planters flank our front door, I am trying to ensure that the trellis placement as well as the plant placement is balanced or symmetrical as much as I can control. I will need a little bit of soil to fill the gaps between our viola plants. The last thing I want is to leave any of the roots exposed, which would lead them to dry out and die prematurely. And with that, it's time to return these pretty purple planters to their positions near the flowering cherry tree. I will water them in a little bit, and I'll clean up the soil residue around the pot rims. I am so pleased with the results of this planter refresh project. They're simple, classic, but even heartwarming. Thank you so much for joining me today as I worked in the garden. It brings me a lot of joy to share Fletcher House and Garden with you all. Until next time, take care.